I've got chills right now. Tonight, AEW in Sacramento for the first time in history. All Elite Wrestling in town for Dynamite. And then Rampage taping after that. We're going to be in the building. You know, I'm going to be ringside.
Oh, of course you are.
I am super excited to catch up with our next guest. We've talked to a lot of AEW people recently. We had Will Hobbs on, Powerhouse Hobbs, yesterday in studio. Last week we talked to Eddie Kingston. And now we're talking to a legend.
Legend.
Someone who's been in the game for so long. You may know him as a Big Show back in the day, or if you watch WCW The Giant. But of course, we know him as Paul Wight. He joins us live. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, Christopher Laud. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm actually driving into your beautiful city of Sacramento right now.
Hell yes. Well, we're excited to have you, man.
I'm glad to be here. You know, you guys had me laughing playing the new theme music. That's the same guy that originally sang my original theme music. So it worked out. We kept some of the same flavor with it, the same feel. So,
and Paul, right before you called, I was just talking about, I'm like, yeah, he actually used the same guy for this song. When I heard that story, I was so happy. It was really a cool thing that you guys did that.
Yeah, it worked out, you know, because that song, my original theme music was so iconic for so many years, you know, and then to carry a piece that over for this new transition has been great. We're excited to be here in Sacramento tonight, coming off a huge, successful pay-per-view and Revolution this past Sunday, so Sacramento's going to be hopping tonight, that's for sure.
I can't wait, man. I have a question. When you signed with WCW back in the day, I mean, that was 1995. Did you, at the time, picture that you would still be in the business? I mean, it's 2023 and you're still in the business. Did you anticipate when you signed that you would be in the business this long?
No, when I signed that contract originally at WCW, that was a training contract. And a lot of my future in WCW is very dependent on how that first match I had with Hulk Hogan went.
Wow.
Like, I literally, if that match would have been really bad, you know, it probably would have been the end of my pro wrestling career. So they kind of dropped me in the frying pan, and I actually managed to survive. So, but yeah, to be here this long, it's crazy, man. Still doing it this long, still loving it. Still love the fans, still love the stuff I'm doing, elevation and the commentary, and working hard, training hard to get back in the ring, hopefully here real soon.
Yeah. We heard about it. You're training hard to get back, which is insane to me.
Yes.
Because you've been through a lot with your body, right? Like, and you're a big dude.
I've had 2 hip replacements, and I just had a knee replacement done in August, which sounds like that's the end of an athlete's career. But with modern technology, man, I'm telling you, I feel better joint-wise than I felt in the past 15 years.
Whoa.
So now it's just about getting the muscle stronger and, you know, just having a little bit more fun. So I got a couple years left here in AEW for sure. Signed a nice, healthy contract here when I came over, and I plan on making good on that contract for AEW, Tony Khan, and myself.
Well, have you enjoyed your new role in AEW? Obviously, you've alluded to getting back into the ring and everything, but has everything else been really enjoyable with the new role?
It's been an unbelievable blessing. You know, I know there's a lot of people all the time talk about gratitude and attitude of gratitude. And sure, it's a positive mental state. Even when you're, you know, shoveling crap in the back of a barn, it's an attitude of gratitude. But I really love it here in AEW. There's so much that we're doing that I have so much experience from where I came from before with our AEW Together, our community relations stuff, help building brands, helping younger talent. There's a lot of nuances that you only get through experience and time. And a lot of that I can help translate and help these younger talent understand about working in front of a TV crowd versus working in front of a non-TV crowd. Presence as an all-star, you know, having that presence and character when you're dealing with fans. So I'm still on the fastest route. That's good.
Hell yeah. You got an update.
But being able to give that information to the younger talent, and there's an old thing that was beat into my brain a lot from guys when I was coming on business is you always want to leave the business better than when you found it. And if you're going to be successful, it has to be a really giving attitude. Sure, you go out, you become a star, you make a name for yourself, you build a brand, but it's also about building the company you work for, building relationship with the fans, and helping other talent learn how to cultivate that so the business continues. It's going to change. It's going to evolve. The stars today look different than the stars that when I started, and when I started, those stars look different than when they started. The business is going to evolve, but there's at the core, it's about keeping those relationships with the fans and entertaining them. I mean, you know, everything in wrestling's probably been done and been seen, but the making of a human connection and emotional connection with the audience is the art form that lets people, just for that brief minute, suspend what's going on in their day and have a good time.
I love that perspective. I love how much passion you still have about the business. It's easy to become jaded at times with the business, I'm sure. I mean, we face in the broadcast world all the time,
Sure.
but that passion's there. When you decided to leave WWE and go to AEW, I know there's obviously the level of excitement on this new opportunity and all that. Was there any sense of like fear at all because you had been with a place for so long and now you're going to something new? I mean, you grew up in WWE.
Oh, I helped build WWE.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sure, I was, you know, it was a huge decision for me to make. But the thing was, when you have a lot of passion and you have more things that you want to personally accomplish, sometimes taking yourself out of a very comfortable environment challenges yourself. I mean, I was very comfortable in WWE. I was treated very well. I had friends there that I knew for over 20 years, great relationships with the management, production, everybody. Like, I don't have any hard feelings towards anyone there at all. It was just more of a deep down personal thing that I really need to push myself to not be complacent. You know, my old boss, you know, Vince McMahon used to have a saying, to be successful at a job, you have to show up every day like it's your first day of work. Every day you show up with an open mind, a positive attitude to work hard, that's how you be successful. So for me, looking at it, I was very comfortable where I was. And for me, being too comfortable is like death. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I want to be challenged. I want to be pushed. I want to be able to challenge those around me and influence those around me in a positive way. So just a personal thing. Like, I saw a great opportunity with something that really had merit. Because for the longest time, there wasn't any competition for WWE at all.
Right.
I mean, it's the only game in town. So then I saw this company, and I saw what Tony Khan was doing, and Chris Jericho, and Cody Rhodes at the time, and John Moxley. And I saw what these guys were doing, and I was like, you know, that just looks like where the fun's going to be right now for me. And, yeah, is it a little bit scary sometimes because there's a lot of new things hitting a small company and a lot of new responsibilities are coming up. But that challenge and adversity really makes, at the end of your day, all the more special because, you know, you helped really build something and make something happen.
Hey, Paul, this is Chris here. I'm a huge fan of yours in the ring, but I have to ask you, you played a role in my favorite movie of all time. You played Brick Hughes in the movie MacGruber.
Oh, yeah.
And I just have to ask, how did you get in it? Did you know like the type of role you were going to be playing in it?
Oh, yeah.
And it's pretty cool that you were the only one of the surviving WWE guys to survive the movie.
Well, it was funny because, you know, Will Forte is hysterical. And, you know, when we got the script for it, like, you know, all the guys kind of got the script, you know, and everybody was kind of going through it. And when I look for parts in movies, whether they're small parts or big parts, as an actor, you want to find something. Of course, your dream is to find something where you can make the most impact for your time on the screen. And my thought, oh, yeah, I'm the heavy hitter, badass dude that just happens to also make out with his garage mechanic because he's got an alternative lifestyle. Yeah, I'm fine with that because it doesn't matter what else happens in the movie. People are going to remember that scene. So, yeah, I'll take it. I'm good with it. Like a lot of the guys are like, oh, man, you're going to – I said, yeah, I don't care. I mean, you know, it's a part. I mean, listen, if I was in a movie with Jessica Alba, no one would believe that I'm really dating Jessica Alba either. So, I mean, you know, it's just a part, folks. Relax. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The fun part about it is the guy that was I forget his name now because I'm old, and that happens sometimes. You've been hitting the head with a lot of chairs. But the other guy was our lighting director on that, and he was really good friends with the director. And he was really nervous about the scene. So then I kept teasing him in between takes, because we did like 15 takes. I'm not kidding you. It turned into a little practical joke. And I was like, man, you've got really soft lips, I mean,
Yes.
I don't think I've ever kissed anybody. And the dude's just turning red. It was all good fun, but yeah, it was a fun experience doing it. And, I picked the right part. So if they do a second one, I might be able to make the second movie. There you go.
That's a good point.
That's seriously a good point. And it's wild to think that you've done it all. And, going back to just you being this big dude, I mean, you have had to go up probably against some really, really strong guys. Who's the strongest guy that you've been up against?
Oh, this question comes at me a lot, believe it or not. But, I mean, my top three guys are Mark Henry, John Cena, and probably Brock Lesnar are my three top.
Oof.
Goldberg, too. You got to throw Goldberg in there, and that was early in my career. Goldberg was very strong. But when I think of guys that I know for a doubt that when I put my, lack of a better term, my body in their hands, there was never any jeopardy, was Mark Henry. Mark Henry used to treat me like I was a stuffed animal toy. I told him one time, I said, if you ever grab me like that in real life, I'm going to hit you with my rental car. I'm just letting you know. And John Cena was like climbing on a piece of workout equipment in the gym because he was just so stable, and Brock Lesnar was so explosively powerful that, like, Brock grabbed you so fast you didn't have time to realize what was happening to you until after it was already over. I think that was the one thing that impressed me about Brock. He was so explosive. And so those are probably my top three guys off that. And then you get guys like Kane. That's another level. I mean, Kane is another one that gets into that mutant strength range. So there's a few of those guys that are pretty tough in there.
You mentioned getting back in the ring again. You're 51, right?
Yes, 51 and feel like I'm 35. So there you go.
Why do you, because you've accomplished everything, right? Like Hall of Fame career, you're a legend. Why do you want to get back in the ring? Is that just the love for it? Is it to prove to yourself, like, yeah,
I'm having fun, man.
Yes.
Having fun. I'm having fun. At this stage of my career, there's zero pressure on me. I don't have a legacy to build. I've been fortunate enough to be successful. So it's not about, making tons of money or making my mark on the industry or any of those things that go through your mind when you're younger. For me, it's pure fun and joy of entertaining the crowd, working with younger talent, and building a completely new brand, something that I can really be proud of down the road, that when AEW really grows and really becomes successful and is around for 25, 30, 40, 50 years, however long this brand gets to go, that I'll know, hey, you know what? I really helped build that brand. And I think that's a pretty good feather in your cap. I mean, maybe that's the ego part of it because I want to build something, but at the same time, I'm having fun. Just being honest, I'm having fun.
No, and I'm glad you're still in it because you're just one of the, I mean, I grew up watching wrestling. I remember seeing you in WCW. I remember, of course, your run in WWE. And I've said this to other people. AEW helped kind of ignite my passion for the sport again. I mean, it's been so cool. And look, the journey's had its bumps along the way for AEW. It's going to be a learning experience, but it's just so great to have another brand, to see different types of stars, different types of athletes. It's just been really refreshing to see what AEW has done.
Yeah, it's an alternative. And that's the thing I try to express to people because, I mean, you look at the WWE product and sure, there's tens of millions of dollars invested in production equipment and people that have been trained for 10, 15 years in specific positions, that work seamlessly as a group synergy wise, and at the same time, we have AEW that puts out a different product. It's a very high quality product, incredibly talented athletes in AEW. I don't know if I've ever seen such a collection of talented athletes like we have here in AEW. At the same time, and you have a lot of people that have that underdog fight of working hard, working multiple positions, multiple jobs, handling multiple tasks, learning experience in different fields and growing along the way. I mean, man, that's exciting. I mean, when you show up to a factory and it's your job, you do it well, and that's your job, and you go home? Or do you come to a place where you don't know what's going to happen today? You have to be prepared. You're emotionally invested. You're mentally invested. And everybody is working hard to put out the best product they can. That's an exciting, creative environment. It's exciting for the fans. I think the fans see that as well when they tune in. The product doesn't have that super polished feel that maybe some of the WWE things does with all the graphics on the screens and all that. But, you know, it'll get there in time. I mean, we're still new. Believe me, I remember when things started in WCW, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like, it grows from there. So to compare the two, the only thing you can do is just, you know, enjoy them both.
Exactly.
You know, they're different. They're different, but at heart, they're pro wrestling and they're entertainment. So just enjoy it.
When you joined AEW, were there any wrestlers that you haven't heard of before, or maybe just a little bit, that once you saw them, oh man, they're legit?
Yeah, there were a lot of talents. So, like, when I first got to AEW, one of the things we talked about was trying to get to know the talent. I didn't want to come in as, this ex-WWE guy that knew it all. You know, that wasn't my thing at all. My thing was to come in, be open, be honest, learn the product, learn the talent, and learn the flow. Every company has its own flow. There are guys that are movers and shakers, and gals too that are movers and shakers, and I really got to absorb a lot of that doing the commentary on Elevation. I've seen some talent that started on Elevation now that is really headlining Dynamite. Will Hobbs, you had him in your studio yesterday. You know, Will Hobbs is one of those guys that I saw starting on Elevation, who was trying to do his own thing and figure out who he is, and now he's turning into a top talent. He's well on his way. He's got a good character thing going, and his in-ring work is unique. And so seeing that, there were a lot of people that never would have been on my radar before, but I'm so happy that they're on my radar now because I've met some truly fantastic, beautiful people who work here for AEW, you know?
So is there anyone that you specifically want to get in the ring with, want to work with, especially since you have alluded to getting back in there?
Absolutely. There's a couple of guys I want to work with. I definitely want to work with Kenny Omega at some point. I'm totally fascinated by a lot of stuff that Kenny Omega does. Kenny and I could have a great big man, little man match. Like, I have zero doubts in my mind we couldn't rip the ever-loving roof off the building. There's some other talent, Hobbs, Wardlow, even Darby Allin. Like, I mean, I'd probably have to be a bad guy to compete against Darby Allin, but if I was a bad guy competing against Darby Allin, I could have the place riding because he does such a good job of his character and selling and fighting from underneath and all that stuff. So Darby Allin's definitely one. Let me see. Hobbs, Wardlow. Oh, yeah. The Murderhawk Monster, Lance Hoyt. Ooh. He's another one. So, yeah, there's some guys there I can have some battle. Orange Cassidy would be fun to play with, maybe to tag with. I think as an opponent, he'd probably irritate the ever-loving hell out of you. Yep. But as a tag partner, it'd be a lot of fun. I always tease Dark Order that I'm a card-carrying member of Dark Order, and I'm going to join Dark Order. So,
hell yeah.
You know, that's a running joke. But, you know, that's the thing. There's so many great talent there that whatever we put together, we'll have fun with. And we have that new giant Satnam Singh who's 7'2". He's a little green right now, but I think at some point, if I tagged with him and showed him how to tag team wrestle as a giant, that would be fun. And maybe down the road, split up into a little bit of a feud there, you know?
I love it, man.
But, yeah, that's the whole thing. The landscape is wide open to do whatever. So,
well, we're really excited about the show tonight. And, you know, Sacramento, I mean, I've been to a lot of shows in Sacramento, and the Sacramento crowd is hot. And they're going to be really hot tonight because of AEW's first time coming to Sacramento. So, man, we're pumped up about it tonight. So thanks so much for joining us, man.
Hey, thank you guys very much, and I'll see you guys there, all right?
All right,
have a good one.
You too. There's Paul Wight. Man, the Big Show. Such a good guy.
Such a good guy, but I love, you know, obviously talking to different personalities from AEW over the last week, and you get the younger guy and Will Hobbs, and then you get a guy like Paul Wight, the Big Show, and just everything he's done in this business and hearing the ways that he talks about the business and him going back into the ring with people and
The guy's-
empowering others.
Multiple knee replacement, hip
2
replacements,
hip replacements.
and he wants to get out there, dude.
He feels 38 though. I'm like, my
And-
body feels older just listening to
And
that.
also, to be fair, he wouldn't be the oldest wrestler in the company.
Who?
Chris Jericho is 2 years
my
older than him.
God,
What
dude.
about Sting?
Oh.
Sting, I forgot about Sting.
Sting,
What about
like,
Sting?
He's like 65, right?
Sting!
He's 62. Celebrity
Can't-
birthday.
Yeah.
Can't tell with that makeup on, but
No, but
You can't wipe it off.
wow. Shots fired at the
Damn.
icon Sting. But yeah, really cool to talk to Paul Wight, man.
Okay, honestly though, for you guys, has this been a pretty cool week of wrestling talent?
Yeah, we didn't tell Brian yet, but we're actually now a wrestling show. 11 to 2. That's what we're. Can you imagine? Brian's like, hey, I noticed you guys have wrestlers on every day.
You guys aren't even talking Kings anymore.
You guys are just promoting wrestling shows in other cities now.
They're not even here.
Yeah, there's a show in Rhode Island. Why?
Oh my god.
I mean, I love having them in studio more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the
yeah.
phone's fine. It's cool. It just, can you imagine if Paul
Oh.
Wight was there?
Oh, man.
He would take up the whole thing.
How many of our sales team would be running out of the building thinking that someone's attacking us?
If Paul White was
Yeah,
here?
Wait,
because-
because his feet are like it would just go boom, boom,
Just
boom.
him walking into the building.
Yeah. Dude, he
With his
is-
head coming over there.
And I love that your favorite movie is actually MacGruber.
Yes.
And that
And
he
that's that. People think that's a joke. No, that is
No.
my favorite movie of
Yep.
all time.
I think he thought you were joking at first, and then he realized, oh, wait, Chris is not joking about this. The other thing about,
he knew my character.
yeah. The other thing about Big Show, aka Paul Wight,
Yeah.
you know, he was over 500 pounds at one point. I mean, just think about how big he is. I mean, he's 7 foot. I mean,
Think
he's
about what
500
that-
pounds, and you know, I don't know what he is now. I didn't
Yeah.
ask, but I mean, I know he tries to. Well, he talks about it openly.
Okay.
I just remember a couple of years ago when he was training, I'm like, the guy has abs.
Yeah, dude, he was shredded.
Yeah,